Maybe you can guess it. But this is in Hong Kong, a little art installation that we were asked to make in a new coffee shop. And we proposed to make a dynamic sculpture that would slowly again be moving, a 2-hour cycle this time, so slow that you would never realize it. And the idea was that people would sit there, have a coffee, and all of a sudden they would notice that something is different, and then they wouldn't really know what it is. By the time they leave the shop, they see that there's actually an entirely different creature hanging above them. It went wrong in that the contractor messed up a little bit, so it's not moving in the end, but it moved for about half a week, I think, and this is a video of that. So we took a surface, we randomly triangulated it so that it would not have clean folds, so that it would constantly build up tension, and then at certain points that tension would become too big and a pop would take place. The idea was that you would see that or hear that in the reflections of the light, and that would get your attention to the ceiling. Where there's this surface hang that's really thin, it's just a fabric, but that looks super heavy because of the metal finish that's hanging underneath it. And here you see how it's slowly moving like this golden dragon that's sort of living there. And one of the things that we didn't realize when we designed this is that it actually makes sound. Like whenever it pops, we actually hear it. And on the opening day, 2 people dropped their coffees at the point in time, and all of a sudden something popped above it. So the client was very happy to shut it down because people were getting too distressed about being underneath it. Thank God we got the video at least. So anyway, that's my talk. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, fantastic projects.
Thank you.
同学们有什么问题想问或者想了解的？any question? Or question from our faculty?
What was the material for the last project?
We used sailing sail,
Yeah.
The strongest sail that we could find, and then originally we wanted to work with very lightweight, expanded honeycomb aluminum foam. But then the client wanted us to match the color palette and the material palette of the shop. That's when the metal came in. So the problem was weight. So it's actually 3 layers of wood to get a little bit of thickness and then a very thin metal finish on top of it. The technical problem that we've been having is that it became a bit too heavy and some of the connections started to become started to wear down a little bit. Add to that the user unfriendliness of the popping noise, and was put down. But it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So again, in that one, the decorative aspect of it, the atmosphere is again a byproduct of these very simple things. It's one motor that's moving a pulley from which 8 different cables come, and they're connected in a non-linear way so that you always have slightly different motion. It looks very arbitrary, but it's just a sinusoid on different points of the curve that are slowly moving.
Beautiful.
In what circumstances that you run the team for this project? I mean, like composition of the students and the role of the student and.
I think for all of these, they're run like an office. So the breeding installation, the blue one, Golden Moon, the Golden Moon, and the last one were fully done within my office.
Okay.
The dragon skin was first done in a workshop, where there was a prototype made that failed, and then in the office we took it in and we finalized it. And then the ZCB bamboo pavilion, we started with 4 student teams that were heavily directed in 4 different directions. That I heavily supervised in that workshop to arrive at 4 different ideas. And then that was taken on again by the research team, which was run like an office. And then for that one, well, we work with external consultants for structural engineering, bamboo specialists, work with the contractor. But in my teaching, whenever I can, in every studio we try to work with large-scale models. Because with the ZCB pavilion, it shows the value of working with prototyping and how easily you can translate a prototype to real construction if you have access to that. So we try to do that all the time. In earlier workshops, there it was very student-driven to really arrive at pavilion structures that were built and tested. So it's a collaborative one, but the biggest ones are usually run like an office setup almost.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, and I also hear a very interesting school. It's called scaffolding school.
Yeah.
So what is that? Because
They train.
So the Construction Industry Council is in charge of the training of all the labor in Hong Kong. One of the aspects of labor is the scaffolding, which is done by, it's a protected, I think it's a protected trade, because you can have an official government approved license to be a bamboo scaffolder.
I see.
And the school where they teach you that license was run by the clients that we used as well. This is a recent thing, because back in the day, and I'm talking only probably 3 decades ago, there was no license for a scaffolder, and that was a family tradition, a trade that was passed on through generations. And only recently, relatively recently, in trying to institutionalize the profession, did they add the requirement to have this license, which some say is one of the reasons why people are not so interested to get into the trade and the craft. But it's an unavoidable thing in modern construction.
No,
我刚刚问的，大家知道 scaffolding 就是鹰架，他们刚刚有一堆那个在帮忙学校在屋顶帮忙盖戴黄色帽子的那个是，他们是从叫鹰架训练学校，他们专门在训练鹰架工的培训的学校，因为在香港，你看他们那个鹰架经常要搭到可能是非常非常高的高楼，也都是要有鹰架，所以需要拿到有 license 才可以去当鹰架工，但在台湾思路完全。随便的就上去了这样子。Because
sorry,
yes, please. No. Yeah, please go ahead.
I was just wondering with the bamboo, so it cracks when it's too hot and too much sun. How is it with the cold and if it's freezing? Do you know that?
I don't know, because we haven't worked in a frozen condition with it. I'm going to speculate. Bamboo is very hygroscopic. It's because of it absorbs water very quickly. One of the ways of treating it is putting it up vertical in a bucket with pesticide, and it will just suck it up. My guess is that once it's cut, also just looking at it on site, it dries up relatively quickly. I think all the water is just transported out of it because of capillary suction. And my guess is that it can withstand frost easily. It also grows easily in freezing contexts. Like in Kyoto, for example, it freezes heavily in winter and the plant survives it easily. So I don't think frost damages it, but I haven't looked into this, I'm speculating. Problem is that it doesn't grow too easily in parts with heavy frost. Like in Northern Europe or North America or Russia, you won't find it. Well, the green map that I showed you shows you very much where it is.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could use it outdoor in northern countries.
I guess you can, if you can find it. It cuts down a bit on its sustainability if you ship it in from China, but yes, but you probably can. They have done, at Hanover in the Expo in 2000, Simon Velez did a big bamboo structure there as well. And they've done, in Berlin there were a few exhibitions with bamboo structures as well. So they've been using it. Any further questions?
Any question? Additional question? Yes.
Okay, you can ask me afterwards. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much then.